I'm a drug user, I'll admit it. Weed is my usual go-to, but I buy that off my friend. If I want to get something a little heavier, however, like acid or coke, I'd just order it off the dark web. It's surprisingly simple. A few clicks, some Bitcoin transfers, and boom, I have acid in my P.O. box. But I'm also a curious guy. The dark web has always intrigued me. Up until a few days ago, I had only been on there to buy drugs off sites some of my friends gave me. But late one night, I was sober and at home, which was a rare thing for me. So, since I was bored, I decided to boot up my Tor browser and try and see what sort of messed up stuff I could find on the dark web. If you've ever been on the dark web, you'll know that you can't just search up red rooms or hitmen for hire and get results. No, you have to find links to these websites first. So I hopped back on Google in an attempt to find some links to some messed up websites. I know it's weird that I was actively searching for the worst, but as soon as I got on the dark web that night, I had this weird sense of morbid curiosity that overcame me. Anyway, I spent a little while trying to find some links, but anything that I found was either too tame for me, or the links didn't even work. At this point, I was ready to give up, but in one final attempt, I clicked on Reddit. I hopped on r/deepweb, but I didn't think I would find anything. I scrolled through the hot option for about half an hour before sorting to new, and that's when I found it. It was one simple text post titled Slayer's Assassination and Life-Ruining Services. The text box of the post was what seemed to be a random assortment of numbers and letters. It took my tired brain a second to figure out what it was, but I realized pretty quickly it was a link, presumably to a hitman website. So, I decided to paste the link into my dark web browser, and what do you know? It worked. But before I decided to go any further, I figured I should go back to the profile to see if they have posted any other dark web links. But when I went back to the post in question, the profile was deleted. Weird. Anyway, I reopened the dark web and hopped onto the site. Up along the top of the website was its name, Slayer's Assassination and Life-Ruining Services, and next to it was what looked to be a skull inside of a crosshair. I chuckled when I saw it. I figured the site must have been fake. Upon scrolling down, however, I was not disappointed. There was a paragraph of white text on a black background, and a small box to the right of the text that just said place an order. The text was the main part though, as it took up most of the page. It proceeded to list all the forms of killing they were able to do. Again, I laughed. This had to be satire, right? Hell, I was even tempted to order it on someone, just to see what would happen. Better not to risk it though, I thought to myself. I was about to close my computer and call it a night when I heard a knock at the door. I live alone, so it was unusual to get visitors, especially so late at night. But when I opened my door, it was just my good buddy Mark, who also happened to be my weed plug. As I opened the door, he didn't hesitate to let himself in and shove a huge bag full of pot in my face. He said he got a really expensive kind and asked if I wanted to try some with him. I couldn't say no. Cut to a couple hours later. It's early morning, and Mark and I are chilling on my couch, both completely out of it at this point. He suddenly decides to get up, and I assume he's going to get some leftover pizza, but he walks over to my desk and computer. Slayer's Assassination? Are you gonna kill someone or something? He mutters. What? I replied. Your computer, dude. It's got some hacker stuff on it. It's the dark web, man. Don't mess with it, I said. At this point, I'm still on my couch, half asleep and not paying full attention. However, I sat up pretty fast when I heard the words, "Hey dude, let's order a hitman on you." I got up and walked over to my PC. Part of my brain was screaming no, but at the same time, with the state I was in, the majority of my brain was thinking about how funny it would be to order a hitman on myself. So I agree. At the end, after I wrote down all my personal details, like my address, my age, and even a photo of me, I had to select what I wanted to happen to me. I just selected plain old assassination, as it was actually cheaper than some of the other things. Anyway, I placed the order, and then replied to the confirmation email, and boom, it was done. A couple clicks and I had ordered myself a hitman on the dark web. Mark and I laughed for a while, but then he left about an hour later and I fell asleep not too long after. I woke up around 9 a.m., which meant I got at least 6 hours of sleep, even if I felt like I got 3. I got up out of bed and brewed myself a coffee before sitting down to play some games and just enjoy my Sunday. But you can imagine how shocked I was when I saw I had ordered my own death the previous night. Even though I thought the sight was BS, I still felt a pit open up in my stomach. Even when I'm high, I can usually make sensible decisions. I chuckled, not like I could remember it anyway. I would assume a normal human being would do something else, but I was still kind of out of it from the night before, so I just carried on with my day. I was a little paranoid, sure, but as I said, I just assumed it was BS. I even laughed at the email I got from the website, saying that the hitman had been dispatched and was on its way. Later that night, a blacked out sedan parked on the other side of the road from my house. I didn't see it arrive, but around the time I started to cook myself some dinner, I noticed it out the kitchen window. Now, I didn't live in a rural area, but there were a lot of trees and bushes between each of the houses on my street, so I would be surprised if any other house saw the car except for mine. At this point, I was freaking out. What if the sight was real? Even though I'm a big guy, I was still freaking out. I don't own any weapons, aside from a slightly larger than average kitchen knife. Screw it, I'm confronting it, I decided. I put on a hoodie and slid the kitchen knife into my front pocket before walking out of my house and right up to the driver's side window of the vehicle. Even I was astonished at my own courage. I knocked on the window, but nothing happened. It was rather anticlimactic. I was fully prepared to have a fight for my life, all because I did something really dumb while I was high off my mind. But, like I said, nothing happened. I even put my head right up to the window, as if there was a reflection, to try and get a better look to see what was inside. I could barely see anything, but I could make out 2 empty seats. No one was even inside. I had got all hyped up for nothing. I decided to wait out by the car for a bit, but after half an hour or so, I was hungry and had to go back inside to take my dinner out of the oven. I swear, it was only a minute between me going inside to take my dinner out of the oven and looking back out of the window that the car was gone. I didn't even hear it leave. Guess I'm eating my dinner with all my curtains closed and doors locked, I muttered to myself. I had just started to calm down when the power shut off. And coupled with the car, I now knew this was the real deal. I had signed my own death warrant. I ran into my upstairs bedroom and locked the door. I then hid under the bed. I figured I couldn't call the cops. What would I say? That I ordered a hitman on myself? So I just stayed hiding under my bed, and I still am now. I've been here for about an hour now. I know I'm screwed. Just a minute ago I heard my back door slowly creak open,